The Ministry of Women's Affairs and the Cambodia Women Entrepreneurs Association have signed a Memorandum of Understanding to strengthen cooperation in supporting women's economic empowerment and entrepreneurship. The MoU outlines collaboration on joint programs, capacity development, and enhancing women's representation in the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
The Ministry of Women's Affairs, working with the Siem Reap Provincial Department of Women's Affairs and with support from UN Women, organized an intergenerational dialogue to promote women's leadership in the public sector below the national level. The event brought senior and younger women officials together to share experiences, build confidence in women's leadership, and strengthen networks among women leaders in subnational public institutions.
A Secretary of State at the Ministry of Water Resources and Meteorology inspected progress on the construction of the National Centre for Water Resources and Meteorological Data Management within the ministry compound. The project is around 57% complete, and instructions were issued to accelerate implementation and to strictly follow technical standards and contract conditions.
The Ministry of Water Resources and Meteorology led an inter-ministerial meeting with the Ministry of Economy and Finance to review pricing proposals for the 2026 annual and periodic maintenance of 17 irrigation system projects. These projects cover 12 target provinces, and the discussion focused on technical standards, realistic cost estimates, quality, and the sustainability of the works.
The Minister of Water Resources and Meteorology met with representatives from the Finnish company Vaisala and from Trust Global Service to discuss a project to improve Cambodia's meteorological capacity using C-band weather radar technology. The talks focused on strengthening meteorological infrastructure and capabilities to support climate change resilience and disaster risk reduction. A Secretary of State at the Ministry of Water Resources and Meteorology led a technical mission to inspect 4 proposed irrigation sub-project sites in Pursat and Bantay Meanchey provinces. The inspections were part of the nationwide Climate Resilient Irrigation Development Project financed by AIIB. The visit aimed to assess local geographic conditions, prioritize the sub-projects, and prepare feasibility studies and detailed designs for implementation planned from 2027 to 2031.
The Accounting and Auditing Regulator of the Non-Bank Financial Services Authority met with the General Secretariat of the Commercial Gambling Management Commission of Cambodia to discuss a training program on Cambodian International Financial Reporting Standards. The planned training will target gambling operators, casino owners and operators, and integrated commercial gambling centers.
The Securities and Exchange Regulator of Cambodia has opened registration for the 31st Training, Examination and Continuing Professional Education Program in the securities sector. Registration is available online until the 20th of March 2026. Participation fees and contact points for further information are specified for those interested. The Securities and Exchange Regulator of Cambodia has issued Guideline No. 02726, CIRC/GL, dated the 13th of March 2026, on the offering of sustainability-linked bonds. A notification announces the adoption of this guideline, which governs the issuance of such instruments in Cambodia's securities market.
The Ministry of Environment led an inter-ministerial meeting to review and provide comments on the full Environmental Impact Assessment Report for the Funan Techo Coastal Inland Waterway Project, Phase 2. The 151.6-kilometer canal crosses Kandal, Takeo, Kampot, and Kep provinces and aims to enhance Cambodia's waterway connectivity between river and sea.
On the 19th of March 2026, the Ministry of Environment's Secretary of State, in charge of the General Department of Policy and Strategies, presided over a workshop to disseminate environmental policies and strategies to subnational departments and relevant institutions. The event covered national development and environmental strategic plans, human resource development, climate change response policies, biodiversity action planning, and green science and technology. The National Bank of Cambodia reported that UNDP Cambodia will adopt the riel for its institutional operations and transactions. The central bank welcomed this cooperation, saying it will help further promote the use of the national currency.
The National Bank of Cambodia organized an event to mark the 46th anniversary of the riel's reintroduction. It featured presentations on 2 joint research documents with the National Assembly and the UNDP. The seminar also hosted a panel discussion on progress, challenges, and policies to promote the use of the riel in Cambodia. The Ministry of Post and Telecommunications concluded a 3-day workshop in Phnom Penh to disseminate digital government knowledge to civil servants. The program focused on digital literacy, AI and deepfake threats, protection of government data, and daily cyber hygiene practices to strengthen Cambodia's digital government resilience.
From March 16 to 18, 2026, Under-Secretary of State Tith Rithapol led the Cambodian delegation to the 12th RCP Joint Committee meeting in Wellington, New Zealand. The meeting reviewed the implementation progress of the RCEP agreement, addressed accession issues, carried out a general review of the agreement, and heard reports from subsidiary bodies alongside roundtable discussions on RCEP's role in the global trading system and on regional priorities. The Ministry of Land Management, Urban Planning and Construction announced that the Tuol Kok Ampil archaeological site in Praying Char village, Phnom Leap commune, Preah Netra Preah district, Bantay Meanchey province, has been registered as public state land. The 386 square metre plot, parcel number 108, is technically registered under land and cadastral law, held by the Ministry of Culture and Fine Arts under the Cultural Heritage Protection Law, and managed by the Ministry of Economy and Finance under State Property Management Law. The General Department of Immigration, together with the Mondulkiri Provincial Administration, held a dissemination meeting on Practice No. 12644. The meeting covered the form and procedures for registering newly born foreign immigrant children in the Annex list and for requesting recognition of foreign immigrant status for children aged 18 and above, already listed under a foreign parent. The session gathered 101 provincial and local officials, including immigration, identity and administrative police officers, as well as commune and Sankat leaders.
Between 16 and the 19th of March 2026, the General Department of Immigration deported 1,556 foreign nationals of 21 nationalities from Cambodia. The group included 776 Vietnamese nationals linked to online scam activities. The others were deported for illegal border crossing, staying without passports, using fake visas, and working without authorization. The General Department of Immigration, through its Department of Foreigners and Refugees, held a dissemination meeting in Mondulkiri Province about Practice No. 12644. The meeting explained procedures for registering newly born immigrant children in annex lists and for requesting recognition of immigrant children aged 18 and over. Provincial immigration officers, representatives of the Khmer Vietnamese Association, and immigrant foreigners from several districts attended to go over the forms and procedures under the Ministry of Interior's regulation.
The Minister of Tourism met with the chairman of THY Holding Co., Limited, to discuss a project to develop luxury souvenirs from agarwood, including perfumes and cosmetics aimed at Arab tourists. The minister highlighted the ongoing 2020-2027 Muslim tourism plan and advised the company to seek legal consultation to ensure the project complies with applicable laws and regulations. The Minister of Tourism took part in the 2025 annual review meeting on the implementation of Cambodia's Public Financial Management Reform Program, Phase 4. The meeting, chaired by the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Economy and Finance, highlighted that Cambodia's public financial system is improving, increasingly aligned with international standards, and enhancing efficiency, transparency, and accountability. On the 20th of March 2026, the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport held a kickoff meeting to launch the Asian Development Bank's Implementation Support Mission for the Secondary Education for Human Capital Development, or SE4HC project. The mission runs from 20 to the 27th of March 2026 and will review progress on project results, including financial implementation, procurement, gender, social safeguards, and monitoring and evaluation. The ADB-supported project runs from March 2025 to December 2030 and covers 259 target secondary schools.
The Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization co-chaired a meeting of the Technical Working Group for Health, focused on digital health governance, data architecture, and interoperability. Participants discussed implementation progress and challenges of the Cambodia Digital Health Enterprise Architecture. They also reviewed an electronic immunization registry pilot and CM REAP and talked about coordinated support for digital transformation in Cambodia's health sector. The National Minimum Wage Council, chaired by the Minister of Labour and Vocational Training, has decided to provide a temporary travel allowance of $2.50 per month to workers in the garment, textile, footwear, and travel goods and bag sectors. The allowance takes effect on the 1st of April 2026. It will be paid on top of existing travel and accommodation allowances during the period of the global fuel price crisis. The Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries held a meeting to review the progress and results of the EU-funded project Accelerating Sustainability of Agro-Food System in Cambodia, implemented by people in need. Participants reviewed activities on biochar, green technologies, greenhouse gas reduction, and efficient resource use, and agreed to strengthen cooperation and technical support for MAFS specialists.
On the 20th of March 2026, the Minister of Inspection and the Minister of Public Works and Transport joined the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Land Management, Urban Planning and Construction to lead an interministerial meeting. The meeting, held at the Ministry of Land Management, Urban Planning and Construction, addressed land occupancy issues affecting citizens in Phnom Penh.
The Secretariat General of the National Assembly held a roundtable discussion on a research project that examined the role of local legislative bodies in promoting inclusive democratic processes. The project assessed municipal, provincial, parliamentary constituency centers and highlighted challenges in public awareness, citizen participation, and local capacity, alongside priorities for human resource development and infrastructure improvement. On the 19th of March 2026, the leadership and officials of the National Assembly Secretariat held a roundtable discussion to review research on the role of local legislative units in promoting full democracy. The meeting focused on improving governance mechanisms, strengthening Secretariat capacities in the capital and provincial branches, and enhancing the linkage between citizens and the National Assembly. On the 20th of March, 2026, the National Assembly's Commission on Legislation and Justice, known as Commission 6, held an internal meeting to review the draft law on combating technology-based fraud. The draft law, approved by the Council of Ministers on the 13th of March 2006, introduces 5 new criminal offenses related to technology-based fraud, misuse of identity data, and money laundering. It is being examined in cooperation with the Commission responsible for Interior, National Defense, Public Functions, and Border Affairs.
Leaders of the National Assembly's Second Committee took part in the 46th anniversary ceremony marking the reintroduction of the Cambodian riel, held at the National Bank of Cambodia's Banking Technology Institute on the 20th of March 2026. The event featured a presentation of joint research by the National Bank of Cambodia, UNDP, and the National Assembly on dollarization, currency usage in the public sector, and policies to promote use of the riel.
The National Assembly and the National Bank of Cambodia presented joint research on the use of currencies in Cambodia's public sector. It shows most state revenues and expenditures are already conducted in riel. The presentation outlined short-term mandatory rules to use riel in all government-funded contracts, an expansion of the Bakong system for payments, and the creation of an interministerial committee led by the central bank to coordinate data sharing and manage exchange rate risks.
Samdech Kitisangahak Bandithmen, Sam An, President of the National Council of the Solidarity Front for Development of the Cambodian Motherland, is leading a high-level delegation on a 4-day official visit to Hanoi, Vietnam. During the visit, the two fronts are scheduled to review cooperation, meet Vietnamese leaders, and sign a 2206-2031 cooperation agreement.
The Apsara National Authority has announced preparations to welcome large numbers of domestic and international tourists to the upcoming Equinox Sunrise event at Angkor Wat. The authority has arranged order and tourism officers to manage pedestrian flows, maintain environmental cleanliness, and ensure safety during the 3-day period from 19 to 23rd of March 2026.
The National Social Security Fund organized an outreach seminar in Phnom Penh for around 50 leaders and members of the Cambodia Valuers and Estate Agents Association. The seminar covered social security principles, regulations, laws, and benefits. NSSF leadership emphasized correct implementation of legal obligations and highlighted the use of the NSSF Enterprise app to modernize administrative procedures for registration, contribution declarations, and benefit payments.
National Police Commissioner General Sar Tet instructed police forces to continue operations against online scam crimes, in line with directives from Prime Minister Hun Manet. He emphasized professional conduct, ethical standards, and active cooperation with relevant agencies. He said those operations will continue beyond the Khmer New Year period to restore Cambodia's international reputation.